very short time ago. Laurie Daly finalised his side for Game 2. So the only change really, obviously we knew Mitch Barnett wouldn't be there. He did his ACL. So this is the official side. Max King is going to start up front alongside Payne Haas, and then Stefano Utoikamanu comes onto the bench. Matt Burton, the 18th man, for probably the 100th time. Keon Koloamatangi is in the squad as well, and Lindsay Smith, who's already played for the Kangaroos, gets the nod there. Gal, right decision? What do you think?
No surprise to me, and I do think it is the right decision. I think picking Big Stefano was a natural selection for me. It was in Game 1. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows all the processes that the teams are running by, all the games, all the calls. So, I think he'll be very, very good. I thought he played really good for the Melbourne Storm on the weekend also. He had a couple of runs. His second stint was amazing when he came back on the field. He almost scored a couple of tries. I thought he was really good, but I think it's a natural selection, and I think he'll do a great job. I think the Blues have a good game plan, a good blueprint. I do think they were a little bit conservative Game 1, but I don't think there's too much needed to change too much, to be honest. With that conservativeness come a great completion rate. They really drove it into the Maroons, and I thought they played really well. So I don't think there's too much need to change too much of the game plan, and Stefano knows it all inside out, so I think he'll be great.
Gus, do you think Max King is better suited to starting?
Doesn't really worry him. He's done both and done both very, very well. And he's a big minute player if he needs to go the distance too. I thought his contribution in Origin 1 was outstanding. His attention to detail, particularly his defence, was great. And they can rely on him. So if he's going to start, I'm sure he'll do a great job for the Blues. You know, it's always tough in Origin because if you have a win like that, what you learn from Origin is that the second game's going to be completely different. The same things that got you on the front foot in the first game might not occur in the second game. The start might be completely different. Queensland could get a few penalties. Things could go differently. So I think there are things to learn out of that game for New South Wales. I always say the losers learn the most. Queensland have a lot to learn out of that game. But if New South Wales don't learn that what else was possible in this game and just go with the same sort of mindset and think that it's just going to happen again, then that plays right into Queensland's hands. New South Wales has to advance again and then advance again into Game 3 to win this series. We're only a third of the way through it. Nothing's been decided. Queensland have shown their colours. They're going to make some changes and they'll come with a completely different attitude. So it's a new game. Start at the beginning. Look at the things you could have done better. Look at the things you didn't do that could actually help you. And then anticipate what is it that Queensland will change about their makeup now that Dearden's playing and Harry Grant might be coming off the bench and all the other permutations it has. There's a fair bit to go into this series yet.
Cam, for you, if you're a Queenslander, is it Stefano? Is he the guy that's going to instill a bit of fear, or is someone like Keon Koloamatangi, did he provide a bit more X factor? If you're the Maroons, who do you not want coming off the bench and running at you when you gas?
Well, I'd say Stefano. He's the bigger body, and he's in pretty good form at the moment, playing with the Melbourne Storm. I think he's taken his game to another level since going down to Melbourne. And he's been a part of the system. He's played a game already, was a part of their extended squad for Game 1, so he knows exactly what their game style is like for this series. It's a strong outfit. And the luxury that New South Wales have is just the one change, a forced change through injury. I remember back to playing in a few series with the Maroons and playing through an entire series where you may have one or two changes. It just makes the preparation all that better and easier, particularly in the early days. Where if you look at Queensland and the build-up for them, they got a new captain to announce. They've got a brand new halfback in Tommy Dearden, so there's got to be some adjustments made. That'll happen in the first few days. And I know we're talking about the elite players of the competition here, but you got to build those combinations.
I think
New South Wales have that established already.
I think Miss Barnett was missed. He was a really good Game 1, I thought. He's done a great job. So he'll be missed, but I think the fact Stefano was there Game 1, as Smithy said, he was there Game 1. Yeah, it just makes sense. Going straight in, and his club form there's no question about his club form or his fitness. He's a natural selection for me, and I think it's a good one. Very, very strong team.
Yeah.
Gus, you mentioned the fact that they do have to be better because Billy's made changes. He's going to have them fired up. But how many gears do you think the Blues have left in them? Are they still a fair way off their best footy?
Absolutely. I mean, I always say you get better the further the series goes. That's why the less changes you make, the better. Cameron's even said it himself. So I think they're in a really good position, but they can't sit back and rest on what happened in that first 30 minutes of Game 1. they've got to make sure that they're prepared for whatever happens on the night. And things can happen. You can get 2 injuries in the first 5 minutes. You get HIAs. You've got to move around in positions. There are a lot of things that can happen in Origin that can put you on tilt and totally change the complex of the game. Plus, you've got to respect what Queensland are doing. Now, Queensland, they never name their team before New South Wales. They never come out straight away and do it. They wait for New South Wales to name their team and then they keep everyone waiting for 24 hours because it's all about Queensland. What have they done this time? The Queensland team was out last night. He's got him in camp straight away. He's dropped his captain. I mean, he's deadly serious about turning this around. And if New South Wales don't respect that, then they're going to get caught hopping at the start of the game. And at this level, if you give the opposition the momentum and the ascendancy, they don't let you off. They just don't let you off. So you've got to make sure you're there. There were other things I saw in that game 1-2 where New South Wales, when I said they were conservative, I thought there were some real opportunities for them in that game that they didn't explore. If they've got their eyes open and they're watching the video closely, they'll see where that is, but they've got to get the right to do it. And I think there are some opportunities for them as well. I think they'll win handsomely. But I've got great respect for what Queensland have done and the attitude they've shown and the decision they've made because they're deadly serious about going to Perth to square this series.
Gus loves talking about Origin. He doesn't love talking about the Dogs, but we're going to make you do it anyway because it was a huge win, 30-12 over the Eels
How did we
in
get
front
from
of
Origin to
nearly
the Bulldogs?
60,000 fans because it's time to talk the Doggies. Lockie Galvin's got a try
as
on
much time as
debut.
possible there.
It doesn't matter how much you prolong it, you still have to talk about it. But before we do that, let's hear from Lockie Galvin after that dream debut.
No, to come out here and in front of all the home fans and to get a win like that, yeah, it's quite amazing. And the support they showed shown throughout the whole game and throughout walking here, and that was yeah, quite unreal. And yeah, very happy to be a part of it. And yeah, I loved every minute of it.
Not just a win, but a try. What did it feel like to cross in your first game for the Dog?
No, it was amazing. You know, all the boys led up to that, and I just finished it off. But yeah, just to get the win with all these boys have been so good to me the past week, and yeah, I loved every minute of it. And yeah, the club's building something really special here, and yeah, I love being a part of it.
A special day out there at Accor Stadium. Gus, you said there wasn't really so much a plan around when and where he would come on, but in the end it was Toby Sexton who went to hooker. What did you make of the first outing for your big marquee signing?
Yeah, there was no real plan, and it wasn't really decided until Saturday that he would be a part of the 17, which I thought was a big call. In a game like that, particularly against Parramatta in front of a big crowd, and with all the noise that we've had over the last couple of weeks, people are putting a lot of pressure on him. It was a big ask, but you know, you never really know when you're on the bench when you're going to be asked. You could have a couple of HIAs early, usually injuries solved where you get him into the game. But the best case scenario that he was going to come on with 20 minutes to go in the game, come on in the middle position in the field and just get his hands on the ball and get used to playing with the Bulldogs and get 20 minutes under his belt. And by then, you'd hope that the game was under control. And that was perfect scenario. That was best case scenario. As it turned out, the game was still in the balance when he went out there. I think it was 18-0 or 16-0 while he was on the field. So he had a big impact when he came on. Good things happen to good people. It was a nice afternoon for him.
I'll tell you, they complete well, the Dogs. Their completion rate
was about 90%
really high.
today.
It was such a high completion rate. Parramatta were right in the game. At the start of the second half, they're pretty much
They're going good, mate.
For a team down the bottom of the ladder, they are going okay. So there was probably, you know, obviously the first 4 or 5 minutes of the second half, the Dogs were down to 12 men. But then they got back to 13 on 13 and Parramatta was still on top. They went down the right-hand side of the field. Lomax kicked the ball back in field, which actually went dead. Gifted the Dogs a 7 tackle set. From there, they gave away a 6 again. They went downfield, kicked the goal, led 14-12. And from then on, the Parramatta side just could not get out of their half. They made errors. The Dogs' defence was outstanding. And they just went on to win the match and totally dominate. But the scoreline by the end of it was totally dominant. It was the last 25 minutes of that game where they just ran roughshod over Parramatta. But Parramatta, no, I agree. For a team down the bottom of the ladder, they are right in most games. Yeah.
Matt Burton was good too. He must have been happy.
They were all good. It was a tough game. You know, Parramatta have been really good over the last month of football. They're improving remarkably. And, you know, it was wet and slippery conditions. We were expecting probably 65,000, 70,000 out there. I was out there to watch the reserve grade. It was bitterly cold and it rained about 3 o'clock and it just made the surface slippery enough there as well. Can you just go back and show that Mitchell Moses intercept try down the right-hand side of the field there? He's going to try and find it for us because it epitomises, I think, everything the Bulldogs stand for at the moment and what Cameron Ciraldo has instilled in these players and what he's trying to do. It's all based on effort. Look at the blue and white jerseys chasing, and some of them can't even get there, but look at them chasing and still chasing and still chasing and still chasing. You know, they've just failed to catch him, but the fact that they made the effort, that'll be the most pleasing part of the whole game for the coach when he goes in on Tuesday to review the performance. And that's why they're going as well as they are at the halfway mark of the season. Still a long, long way to go, but whatever you've got that effort and that commitment and everyone's buying in on it, you've got a football team.
Gosh, you've moved Toby Sexton into hooker.
I didn't.
No, well, sorry, the coach did. The Dogs did. No, you would have had nothing to do with it. I understand that.
I was having
totally.
a pie, mate.
Yeah, no, I got no doubt about that. But what do you see? Do you see Lachlan Galvin staying on the bench going forward, or would you see him starting in the 6 or 7?
I really don't know. We've got Origin next week. Bank Burton's not going to be available. Kurt Mann's not going to be available. Max King's not going to be available. Stephen Crichton's not going to be available. I don't know what injuries have come out of the game, so they play South Sydney this weekend without their Origin players. But the coach will have something in mind. I thought today, you know, it was a big decision to put him on the bench, given everything that's happened, but he actually earned the right. By Saturday, he said, I have to put him in. He's been so good at training. The players have really bought into him. He's bought into what we're trying to do, and I think he can help us. And then after the captain's run on Sunday, he rang me to say, he said that he had some really classy touches at training. He said, I'm so confident now that if we get him into the game, he'll do a good job. I don't think it matters the position he plays. And it doesn't really matter with the Bulldogs. If you watch them all year, everyone interchanges around everything in the way that they do the game. We've got so many players that can play different roles. So what he does him in the next few weeks, I really don't know. What his long-term position is, I really don't know. I just know that he's a classy, intelligent, humble footballer who's going to be a really good one, and I'm glad he's with us.
Yeah, well, like he showed at the Tigers, Gustin, he just had to be on the field. He's got that much class. He makes a huge
Sometimes there are
difference.
players just say, I don't know where to put him, just put him out there.
Yeah.
Just put him out there. He'll tell us over the years what position he's going to end up.
Yeah.
You know, but what was really good is that he didn't, you know, the team that has been playing so well deserved to go around again, and they did. They all kept their positions, and they went out there and performed really well, and Lachie Galvin had an impact coming on. So he's a real asset to the club and an asset to the team, and the players really like him. They do. I was at a meeting the other day where he spoke to the players and they spoke to him and they questioned him about his motives for coming. It was a really productive meeting and he handled it really well. He's an intelligent young boy.